Okay, Facebook, I have a few little scriptures I want to read with you because I think there's some people out there that are a little bit discouraged because there are things that you're hoping for and believing God for, and right now the enemy is talking to you and convincing you that they're not going to happen. But I just want to encourage you, don't let the enemy do that to you, because exactly what God has pressed in your spirit and revealed to you, He will do. I have Psalms 5 and 3, Proverbs 29 and 18, and of course Habakkuk 2, chapter 2, verses 1 through 4. So Psalm 5 and 3 says, "My voice shalt thou hear in the morning, O Lord. In the morning will I direct my prayer unto thee, and will look up." That's Psalms 5, chapter 5 and verse 3. And now I'm going to roll over here to Proverbs 29 and verse 18. Proverbs 29 and 18 says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he." And now I'm going to flip over to Habakkuk 2, verses 1 and 4. Habakkuk 2 says, "I will stand upon my watch, and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision, and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." Listen, let me read verse 3 to you again. "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." People, I know you think because nothing has happened up to this point, God has forgotten about you. That thing that you felt that was dropped in your spirit, God's not going to do it for you. But the word of God I just read to you, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, meaning the time you think that it's appointed is not the time that God says it's appointed. But he did say, but at the end it shall speak, meaning at the end it will come to pass. That thing will happen and not lie, because God can't lie. So whatever it is that he's dropped in your spirit, that he's led you to see that's going to happen for you, it's going to happen. It's not a lie. Don't let the enemy convince you that it's a lie. What God has said to you, what God has revealed to you, is not a lie. God cannot lie. Not to now one of us can he lie. He will not lie to get his purpose and point across. God does not have to lie. Though it tarry, though it take a while, though it's not coming when you want it to come, though you haven't seen it manifest, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Listen to me. God promised Abraham that he would be the father of nations. Abraham got restless, he and Sarah. He didn't think that thing was going to happen. But guess what? God did it. You can read it for yourself. Genesis 17, 1 through 4. Moses. God told him that he would be a great leader and bring his people out. Moses had issues with that. Moses didn't believe that. But God did it. Go to Exodus 3, verses 10 through 17. Gideon. God told him he was a great warrior. He was a mighty man of valor. Gideon didn't believe it. God showed him who exactly he was. Go and read it. Judges 6, verses 12 through 14, verses 16 and 36. And you'll see exactly what he went through, what Moses went through, what Abraham went through with believing God's promise to them, with believing the vision that God had given to them. So you're not the only one. Don't let the enemy convince you that you are the only one and that it's not going to happen. Let me give you one more. David. David was anointed to be king as a boy, as a youth. He didn't take that throne at the time he was a kid. It took a while. So all I'm trying to get you to see, go back and read 1 Samuel 16, verses 1 through 11 and verse 13. All of these people have something in common that you and I have in common. Things that God has dropped in our spirit to happen, to do, to be. God cannot lie. I just read it to you. He can't lie. He said, though the vision tarry, wait for it. That means quit letting the enemy convince you. It's not going to happen. It can't happen for me. David was anointed king as a little boy. He was about 16 years old. He was anointed king. But he didn't take the step and the place of king until he was much older. He went through a lot of trials and tribulations before he got there. He didn't just walk into the position. There was a process, people, a process. Had they not held on to the promises and to that vision that they would have never walked into greater. So what I'm saying to you, hold on to your vision. Hold on to what God has promised you. Hold on to what has been dropped in your spirit. Hold on and wait for greater. I know it seems that it's not going to happen, that it's not going to come, that it's not going to pass, but I'm telling you to wait on it. It's coming. Don't give up. I read the verse to you. It said, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. Your time and my time is not like God's time. He knows exactly when it's going to happen, right down to the very second. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Nothing great happens overnight. It didn't happen for David overnight. It didn't happen for Abraham overnight. He didn't get his son the very next day when he was told that he and Sarah would bear a child. It didn't happen the very next day. As I said, go back and read it. Nothing happens to us, everybody, overnight. The first time we hear about something that's going to take place. It just doesn't necessarily happen overnight. Some things we have to work for. Some things come after a process of time. Are you even preparing for that thing to happen? Is there something that you should be doing to make sure that you're ready for that thing when it does come? Go before God and trust him. He's still the great I am. He was the great I am back in Abraham's day. He's still the great I am now. And if we just rely on him, trust him, and believe him, because he can't lie. And as I said, I just truly wanted to come and encourage you. Again, go back and read Habakkuk 2, verses 1 through 4. Proverbs 29 and 18. Psalms 5 and 3. Early in the morning, get up and talk to God. Go before him and talk to him. Let God drop in your spirit what he's doing for you and in you. Don't let the enemy convince you that God has nothing for you. Don't let the enemy convince you it's not going to take place. It's taken too long. Don't let him lie to you. Don't let him tell you that it's not for you. God didn't mean it for you. God wasn't talking to you. It wasn't for you. Those are lies that the enemy tells us. We're not the right one. We don't look the part. We can't do the thing. We're not educated enough. We don't have enough money. We don't know the right people. We don't have the right connection. But let me tell you, God is the right connection. God is the one we should hold on to and the one that we should believe. Don't fall for his tricks. Don't fall in the trap. Don't give up what God is trying to do in you and through you. Don't give up on God. He said it in his word. Wait on it. Wait, people. Let God do it, because I guarantee you when he does it, it'll be such a blessing, such a manifestation. Go back and look at Abraham. Go back and look at Gideon. Go back and look at David. Look at Moses and see what they accomplished. And tell me if they weren't great men of God who accomplished something because they dared to believe God. And I'm telling you, they didn't believe it at the first instant it was said. They needed God to prove to them. Gideon really needed God to prove to him. And Moses, he fought and insisted, I can't speak. He went down the line of why he couldn't be the one. But God knew who he was. God knew what he could do. And if you give it to God and let God lead you, believe God that you are the chosen one. You are the one that God has said can have, can do, will do, are the one. Don't let the enemy buy into what you cannot do, because it's a lie from the pits of hell. It just comes in to cause you to miss your blessing, to slow you down, to throw you off. Don't fall for it. I felt led in my spirit to come and tell you this because I felt that there were a bunch of people that are discouraged right now. You're going through some things. There's some things you're waiting on. There's some things you're trying to do, and you're trying to figure out your timing. Wait on God. Go to him in prayer. Don't let the enemy convince you that you need to make your own decisions. Don't do it. Go to God. Talk to God about it. Let him lead you. Let him guide you. Let him encourage you. Let him strengthen you. Let him enable you. Don't listen to what the enemy has to say to you. Don't listen to what the enemy is trying to tell you. Listen to God. Let him quicken your spirit. Let him quicken your inner man. I just wanted to encourage you. I just wanted you to know. As I said, go back and read Habakkuk 2, verses 1 through 4. Because I'm telling you, it is so current for today. For the vision, verse 3, Habakkuk 2. Verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry. Wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Don't let the enemy trick you like that. Habakkuk 2, verses 1 through 3. Habakkuk 2, verses 1 through 3. Read it for yourself and go back and read the story of David Moses, Gideon, and Abraham. It'll bless you. It'll encourage you. It'll strengthen you. Those chapter 17, Genesis 17, 1 through 4 for Abraham. Exodus 3, verses 10 through 17 for Moses. Gideon, Judges 6, 12 through 14. Verse 16 and verse 36. I mean, you can read it all and you'll see, especially with Gideon, and how God needed even to let him hear the enemy's camp brag on Gideon and a dream that he was given by God, and to have that dream interpreted about who Gideon was and what Gideon was about to do. The length that God would go through to encourage his people and to strengthen you, to let you know, yeah, I'm talking to you. I'm talking about you. It's you I'm going to do this thing for. It's you I'm going to do this thing through. So don't let the enemy tell you who you are not and what you can't do, because with God, all things are possible. With God, nothing is too hard. So don't let the enemy convince you. And the last one is David. 1 Samuel 16, verse 1, verses 11 through 13. And you'll see where he was anointed as king. And I mean, as a little boy, his father Jesse didn't even believe that he was the one the prophet Samuel was looking for. He's just a little boy out there in the field with the sheep. So, I know there are people that are looking at you and saying who you are not and what you can't do, but don't buy into it. Yeah, we got family members. We got best friends. Yeah, we got people who say who we're not and what we can accomplish and what we can do. But see, one thing you need to realize, they're not God. When God sees a thing, and when he puts his handprint on a thing, you best assured rest with God and know that God is telling you that God knows the outcome. God can fix the outcome. God can manifest the outcome. Put your trust on God and wait on God. I hope I've encouraged you, and I hope you can look up, be strengthened, and walk taller, and know that God is an awesome God, and he'll do exactly what he's dropped in your spirit to do. Amen.